Okay, we're starting Be'ez Hashem Siman Nun Vav, Vayoel Moshe, and we're talking about the issue of building the Beis Hamikdash before the coming of Mashiach. Okay, so in the last Siman he brought down that the Yerushalmi said that there is going to be Binyan Beis Hamikdash before Beis HaMashiach, and the Tosfos Yom Tov brings it down, Ma'aser Sheni Hey Perek Hey HaMishnah Beis, and the other shita was the Bavli in Yuma Daf Hey says that no, that by the time the Beis Hamikdash is built, there's going to be Aaron, Moshe, and we're going to have Tchias HaMeisim already. We're going to have Beis HaMashiach already. Okay, now Uvechedushay HaRashash Ala Mishnayis, the Rashash, the same Rashash in the back of the Gemara, Reb Shmuel Strashun from Vilna. So Reb Shmuel Strashun in Vilna about 1800. Oh, you ever looked in the back of the Gemara, the Rashash?
Yeah.
So he has on the Mishnayis too. So on the Mishnayis, on Ma'aser Sheni, the Perek Hey, the Ma'aser Sheni, Kosav ala Tosfos Yom Tov, Shehevi Me'Yerushalmi, Kanal. He brings down this Tosfos Yom Tov that says that the Yerushalmi says that there's going to be Beis Hamikdash before Mashiach, and he says Shestir Lazdehu Me'Gemara Yuma Daf Hey. He says it's fair from the Gemara in Yuma Daf Hey. V'loy Heyer Medivrei Tosfos Now. However, he doesn't bring down the Tosfos that Vayoel Moshe in the previous Siman brought, that holds that Korban Pesach will not be brought until we have Moshe and Aaron. Ela shehevi acher kach mi Sefer shekasav b'shem haZohar HaKadosh. He brings down a certain Sefer which quotes the Zohar HaKadosh. The Rashash didn't look in the Zohar HaKadosh himself, but he had a Sefer that brings down from the Zohar. B'medrash HaNe'elam, the Parshas told us the Binyan Beis Hamikdash koydem the Kibbutz Galius. The Zohar in Parshas told us says that the building of the Beis Hamikdash will be before the gathering of the exiles. Kibbutz Galius koydem Tchias HaMeisim mem shana, and the gathering of the exiles is 40 years before Tchias HaMeisim. So
where Parshas where?
I don't know.
I see.
So this is what the Rashash wants to take out, or this Sefer that the Rashash quotes wants to take out from this Zohar, that Mashiach will come after the Beis Hamikdash, because it says Beis Hamikdash koydem the Kibbutz Galius, right. And he's assuming that Kibbutz Galius is synonymous with Mashiach. And we either way can't use the Zohar to prove the Bavli anyhow. Yeah, the Zohar is not really halacha. Right. We don't use it for halacha, but anyway.
Even a guy with the Zohar argues the Bavli, always go by the Bavli.
Take a look inside in the Rashash.
Yeah.
He says, V'dash Masha Kosav ha. It's page 10, the Maamar Kohen sheets. V'dash Masha Kosav ha Tosfos Yom Tov. The Ulai lo yiyeh oz gedolim mizeh ha bezdin. Maybe there won't be greater gedolim than the bezdin that made the takana. Why? Ki binyan Beis Hamikdash koydem, because Beis Hamikdash before Bias Ben David. So with Tchias HaMeisim, before Tchias HaMeisim, steer las them yumad ham base. Okay, he brings the Gemara in Yuma, and then he says, Omnam be Menachem Azariah. This is the Menachem Azariah from Fano, a famous Makubal in the 1600s.
Yeah.
And he says, Bechelik Aleph Beis Perek Mem Gimel. So that's what the Sefer that the Rebbe mentioned is. It's the Sefer of Menachem Azariah. He says, Perek Aleph Beis Bechelik Aleph Beis Perek Mem Gimel. Ro Isi Shekasa B'Shem Medrash HaNe'elam. Parshas told us, Bekitzer Binyan Beis Hamikdash koydem l'Kibbutz Galius. The Kibbutz Galius koydem l'Tchias.
Zohar? You went by it?
L'Tchias HaMeisim mem shana. Well, if there's nothing against it, you can go by it. The question is there anything against it? So this is how the Rashash, the Menachem Azariah, learned up this Zohar. Uve emes. So Hinei hevi medivrei Zohar HaKadosh havei l'shu kedas Yerushalmi. It holds like the Yerushalmi that Binyan Beis Hamikdash is before Mashiach. Uve emes. However, the Rebbe says no. It could be that the Zohar doesn't mean that. He says, "Ama'ayin b'Zohar HaKadosh sham b'mkoimoy yireh she'ein misham raya." If you look in that Zohar inside, you'll see that it's not a raya. V'adrabah, on the contrary, it's a raya the other way, because the zel l'shoynoi b'daf kuf lamed tes amud aleph.
Where? What does that call? What do you mean? In Zohar?
Yeah. Now the Rebbe is looking.
Parshas told us.
Parshas told us. Yeah.
Look it up. Yeah. Very okay. So Amar Rabbi.
So he says Amar Rabbi Yosef, v'chi yemois HaMashiach u'tchias HaMeisim lav chadahu. He says that isn't Tchias HaMeisim and Yemois HaMashiach the same time? So Amar Lei, he said back to him, it means Rav Nachman said back to him, Loi, he said it's not the same time. That's non, because we learned in the Mishnah Now, this is not really a Mishnah, but it's a teaching. He says, Binyan Beis HaMikdash Koyim L'Kibbutz Galius. The building of the Beis HaMikdash is before the gathering of the exiles.
Just prove against Zionists, because they say first you have to in-gather.
Right. Now, Kibbutz Galius Koyim L'Tchias HaMesim. Okay, L'Tchias HaMesim Achron Shebechulam. The L'Tchias HaMesim is the last of the three. Dichsiv B'nei Yerushalayim Hashem. Hashem builds Yerushalayim, that's the Beis HaMikdash. V'hadar, and after that, Nidchei Yisrael Yechanes, who gather the Nidchei Yisrael. V'achar kach haroy v'lishvurei leiv u'mechabesh latzvoisam shehu tchias hamesim. He heals those who are broken-hearted, means he heals the dead people and makes them come back to life. U'mashma mizeh sha'akol yiyeh achar b'yis HaMashiach. So you see from the Zohar, not like the Rashash wanted to bring out. You see from the Zohar that everything will happen after b'yis HaMashiach. Why? De'im neima. Because if you say, like the Rashash, the Efshar Shiyah Binyan Beis HaMikdash or Kibbutz Galius Koyim L'Mois HaMashiach, right? So then, Ein Raya Me'oisa Braisa D'Tchias HaMesim V'Mois HaMashiach Lav Chadahu. You don't have a raya that it's not the same thing. In other words, Rabbi Yosef asked, you have to look at the question. The question was, isn't Mois HaMashiach and Tchias HaMesim the same time? Aren't the Mesim going to get up at the same time that Mashiach comes? So he told him, no, it's not going to happen at the same time. How do I know? Because first comes Beis HaMikdash. First comes, Yerushalayim, Beis HaMikdash. Then comes Kibbutz Galius. And then comes, Then comes Tchias HaMesim, last, right? Now, if all he's saying is what it says, then it's going to come out that maybe Mashiach could be at the same time as Tchias HaMesim, right? And it will be the last thing. So he hasn't disproven the question. Understand? The question was, maybe Mashiach and Tchias HaMesim is the same time. How is he disproving that?
Well, he's saying that they have a different time, but Mashiach will still come first. Because even the Rambam said, whatever the Mashiach, the Rambam steals Mashiach as the first of everything will happen, as per the Gula. Even from the Rambam we see.
Everything will happen after he comes.
Mashiach,
right.
but obviously there will be the Tzaddik Mashiach first.
He's trying to show that was the assumption that the Zohar made. Because if that wasn't the assumption, then he hasn't proven anything.
I see. Because
the assumption must be that the Beis HaMikdash can't be built until after Mashiach comes. Okay, so now if you're going to say that the Binyan Beis HaMikdash and the gathering of the exiles could happen kodim L'Mois HaMashiach, then ein raya me'oisa braisa that Tchias HaMesim L'Mois HaMashiach lav chadahu. There's no raya that they couldn't be the same thing, because maybe they will be the same thing. All it says there is that Tchias HaMesim is the last thing after Binyan Beis HaMikdash v'Kibbutz Galius. If those two things, that the Beis HaMikdash and the gathering of the exiles, could happen before Beis HaMashiach, so then Mashiach and Tchias HaMesim could happen at the same time. It must be that it was pashut to the Zohar that no, Binyan Beis HaMikdash v'Kibbutz Galius hu achar Beis HaMashiach. All those things are going to happen after. Since Tchias HaMesim is the last thing, it has to be many years after Beis HaMashiach. Even if it's not a raya for Keret, but it is not a raya to the Yerushalmi, that he holds like the Yerushalmi, that it will happen before, that the Beis HaMikdash will happen before Mashiach. Okay? Without this raya, lafi ma shehevin gam Rashash, even according to the way the Rashash does learn it, midivrei Hashas Yuma, but he learns from the Gemara and Yuma that it argues on the Yerushalmi. The pligi al Yerushalmi was that him came gam lafi avanosai shadas Zohar Kadosh kedas Yerushalmi. Even if you're going to go like him, that the Zohar is like the Yerushalmi, still mikamachim pluktahu. It's still a machlokes against the Bavli. Pluktahu in Mashas Bavli. So it's for sure machlokes tanoim if it could happen before.
So the Bavli don't argue, but we have to answer the Yerushalmi. He seems to argue.
Right. The Yerushalmi is against this Bavli, but there's for sure something on the other side. It's not just the Yerushalmi. Okay? So in the coming Siman, he's going to have to explain how this Yerushalmi fits in. But as I said, you could just say, from the Yerushalmi itself, you could just say that it was the Beis HaMikdash coming down in fire from Shemaim, and it has nothing to do with us doing it. So it has nothing to do with building the Beis HaMikdash ourselves before Mashiach.